So what's your take on how a new season of Stranger Things versus losing friends in The Office stacks up? How does Netflix net out there?
Yeah, I think in the near term, for the rest of this calendar year, for the most part, I think Netflix is going to be fine. They've had. I'm sometimes negative on Netflix, and people call me on it, but it's because I just think that the future is going to be very tough for them. They've made some really wise decisions in terms of all the money that they've invested over the past few years in terms of their original content, and obviously Stranger Things is an example of that. Obviously, there's still previous titles like Orange is the New Black that have done well for them as well. The problem is going to be it's not just Friends. It's original movies from Disney. It's the Fox library that Disney just bought. It's the new original content from Apple. I just think they've never had so much competition, both in terms of known content that previously they've licensed, as well as original content that's going to be pulled off of their platform and go into competing platforms.
So then how does Netflix fill the void? Is it all about original content? Or can they fill it with original content?
I just don't see, one of the things that Netflix has benefited from, even with the huge losses and the amount of money that they're spending on original content, is the first mover advantage that they've had and the tremendous lead that they've had in terms of generating market share. The issue is, though, now there's more connected TV homes in the United States than homes with a cable box. And so the economies of scale have changed such that they're no longer differentiated from a lot of the other services. And so I don't see them outspending an Apple, outspending an Amazon. And so I don't think original content can do it alone. What I've been saying for some time is I think that they should invest money in buying an existing content provider that already has a library that has a fan base and some following, similar to how Disney bought Fox, and I think that is much more likely. The other thing that people talk about less, but is going to play a significant impact in terms of time spent on Netflix, is the growth of ad-supported streaming. Services like Pluto TV that was recently acquired by Viacom, Zumo, and others. And so I'm a big believer that in 2020, Netflix has to launch some sort of ad-supported tier that maybe they can feature a lot of their original content library on.
Interesting. So what are you going to be watching for on Wednesday when the company reports?
So I think a couple of things. I'll be looking more at the international number. I think that's still an area where they have maybe a little bit more wiggle room in terms of their first mover advantage. In those markets, they don't have some of these huge global international companies that they're competing against. They're competing against the incumbents in those local markets that own a lot of the content rights. And so I think that number really has to be very, very good to kind of give them the headwinds that will help fend off some of the competitors coming into the end of this year of 2020. I don't think that the domestic number matters that much because the real competition is probably 2 quarters away domestically.